Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. It's the weekly weight loss journey update where I share with you guys all the failures that I've had in the last week. Well, successes, failures, I don't know. Let's get into it. I actually just walked in the door from Cousin Fun Day. I think I'm going to film 2 videos over here today. I got a bunch of new bedding and stuff like that today, and so I think I'm going to do a bedroom bedding haul as well. So I'll probably post both of those videos over here today, just in case you want to see what new bedding I bought for the bedroom. So, yeah, so tell me what you want, what you really, really want. Should we get into the weight loss journey update? I'm not really that excited about talking about it this week. So, you know, I will say this, that I've gotten several comments and several DMs from people, and I think a couple of emails as well from people that have thanked me for doing like an honest journey over here and, you know, sharing the ups and the downs of this journey. You know, I use the word failure. I don't know that I necessarily love that word, you know? Like, for example, when people say that they have like a failed marriage or a failed relationship, I don't love that adjective to describe the ending of a relationship. I never really have, right? Because I believe that within any marriage or within any relationship or friendship that, you know, I'm a big believer in people come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. I know this doesn't have anything to do with weight loss journey, but hold on, I'll explain it. And I'm a big believer in that, right? And so whether people come into your life for a reason, you learn something from that, a season, you learn something from that, or a lifetime, they're there with you for your lifetime, right? I am hoping that this weight loss journey for me is a lifetime thing, right? That it's not just a weight loss journey, it's a health journey. It's getting healthier and learning what I can do and what I can't do, and, you know, learning more about my food addiction and learning about my emotional attachment to food and all those kinds of things, and being more active and how great I feel when I am active, you know, and how much I miss it when I'm not active anymore and things like that. So for me, it's a lot about the learning curve, you know, and I kind of talked a little bit about that last week. So it's not always to me about talking about successes versus failures. I don't want this journey over here to just be about me coming on here and being like, oh, yay, applaud, I was a great success because I lost 3 pounds this week. Or, oh, I was a huge failure because I gained 4 pounds this week. Like, that's not what I want this to be about, right? You know, and I'm thinking back about like the times that I was like the healthiest in my life, when I was running, you know, 5 to 6 days a week, and I was lifting weights 5 to 6 days a week, and I was eating really healthy, and I was making good choices, and I felt good, and I was getting a lot of sleep, and I was drinking a lot of water, and, you know, that my physical health affected my mental health and things like that in a positive way. And that's really where I want to get to, you know, again as well. And I think part of it is, for me, I can only speak for me, that as you get older, you know, and, you know, I've recently had a lot of friends that are, you know, my age to 10 years older to 10 years younger that have gotten very, very sick and things like that, or, you know, had injuries that, you know, for whatever reason, they just, you know, and whenever I would talk to them, they'd say, I just really was never taking care of myself before that. I wasn't doing preventative medicine. I wasn't going to a doctor on a regular basis. I wasn't eating healthy most of the time. I wasn't being active. I wasn't taking care of myself. Now, I'm not talking about like with severe diseases and things like that. I'm talking about, you know, just like not feeling great at 50 years old. I don't want to be that person, you know? I also know people that are 70, 75 years old that are extremely active and live a very full life and are outside all the time and walk and run and travel, and that's who I want to be. But for me to be that at 70 or 75, I have to start this journey today. Now, I would love for me to get on video and every week just be like, yeah, like I lost 4 more pounds or 5 more pounds, and I like walked for 2 hours every day and I never made a poor choice, right? Like, but in all honesty, that's not realistic. And for anybody, you know, I don't think that that's realistic for anybody. And I don't think it's maintainable for most people. It's definitely not maintainable for me. I guess I shouldn't speak for anybody else, but it's not maintainable for me. And some of the messages I've received from people are thanking me. They're like, thank you for being so honest about the struggles that you're having and why this is so difficult for you and things like that, you know, and that it's not just like, yay. And it's also like, I've seen a couple people where there's this misconception that it's about reaching this goal weight, and like that's all it is for me, and that once I reach this goal weight, like I've gotten just a few comments where people will be like, it's not just necessarily about a weight. It's not about that for me either. You know, I do have a goal weight that I've talked on here that I want to reach, but once I reach that goal weight, the videos aren't going to stop. You know, it's also for me about maintenance. Like, am I able to stay there for a long period of time? What am I doing to stay there? You know, what am I doing to improve my health past just losing the weight? My doctors for a very long time have encouraged me to lose weight, and have really wanted me to be, you know, like the main goal is under 200 pounds. Like that's where they want me. They would love me to be about 180, 190. My goal is between like 175, 180. I mean, 170, 180 is my goal in there. But that's for weight, but also for healthy living. But once I hit that, it's also about maintenance, and am I able to stay there? Do I put it all back on in 3 to 6 months, and then I'm just as unhealthy as I was before? It's not about just meeting this goal, and then once I've met that goal, I'm like, yay. It's about maintenance, of staying there, and what I'm doing to stay there, and, you know, like what activities am I implementing into my life, and healthy eating and things like that. And the thing for me is that the accountability factor of getting on here every week has been really, really helpful for me, you know? I've shared the story that I didn't really want to get on here that first week because I hadn't really done that great. And I was ashamed and embarrassed of that, you know? And so that's going to continue. There's going to be, you know, some weeks, I hope more than others, where I do really, really great. And I can share with you guys that I have like walked every day, and you know, my goal is to walk until I can run like this summer, and then once I'm like running, share that with you, you know, like I've looked at all these different, you know, I used to run back in the day quite a bit. I ran, you know, 5 to 7 miles, something like that, like, you know, at 5-6 days a week. I mean, obviously I was much younger. It was my late 20s, early 30s when I was doing that. And I lifted weights, you know, 5 to 6 days a week. I would love to get back to that, you know, because I felt fantastic. And I was sleeping fantastic. And, you know, in all honesty, like, at that time, I wasn't even really sleeping that many hours. I was sleeping like 6 to 7.5 hours a night, you know? I would love to get back to that, and just how it affected my overall attitude of life, and just my happiness and my mental health and things like that. It's for me an overall health goal. It's not just about hitting this number, right? But I know that people that are watching this are like, did Peter gain? Did Peter lose? So let me tell you about the last week, okay? So I weighed in last week. I don't even really remember which days, but just to put it in perspective, or just, I did not eat well last weekend, okay, at all. Ordered food. I ordered Cheesecake Factory one night, something else another night. I have not done well at all. And, you know, what I realized was in those moments when I've got a lot of emotional stuff going on, or I'm like struggling, like I immediately go to food. But I already knew that, so that's not a good enough excuse for me, right? But I immediately go to food, and that was kind of where I was last weekend, and that's what I did, you know? And like I said, that's no excuse, right? Like instead, I'm going to have to like work through those issues. As a person in recovery, I was just talking to my friend Tani about this the other night, that where I'm at 29, you know, 29 years and a few months sober, that if today I'm craving alcohol, then it's really not about the alcohol. It's about, there's something in my life that I'm not okay with, and I need to work through that issue, because the alcohol is but a symptom of that. The alcohol is how I dealt with that stuff back in the day. So if I'm craving alcohol, I'm not talking about like being on a beach and somebody has a beer and I think, oh, that looks fun, that looks good, right? Like that's gonna, as a person that loved alcohol, I'm always going to have that, right? But when it's like this obsessive thinking, you know, where I'm like, oh God, I want to drink, I want to drink, I want to drink, which really, to be honest with you, rarely ever happens to me. And probably because I've replaced a lot of that with food, you know? So the thinking has to go along with that. And so when I'm like really craving to eat bad, like where I'm like, I don't really care, I just want to eat bad, what I need to do probably instead, and this is one of the things I learned in the last week, is I need to look at what's going on with me in my life and work through that, you know, whether that's through inventory or talking to my sponsor or my support network or my therapist or whatever. I need to work through those issues. So that was one takeaway from this week. You know, this whole thing that I'm doing, like I never thought that it would be a lot about lessons that I'm learning and things like that. But that was one great lesson that I learned in this week, is to look at the motives, which I had been talking about with my sponsor and other people for a long time with like my food addiction and things like that. Like what's the motive behind the cravings and things like that. So that was one thing that I really looked at this week. But I didn't eat healthy. I really didn't this weekend at all. But then this week, it was like one day I would eat healthy and the next day I wouldn't. And then, what is today? Thursday? So Wednesday, I did not walk last night. It was very, very cold. I hadn't walked. I mean, it had been like 2 weeks since I've walked because I had hurt my knee and things like that. I started walking, and I was walking like 30 minutes a day. Then I pushed it to like, I don't even know because I don't have my book up here with me, 45 minutes a day, and then like an hour and whatever. And then the last day that I'd walked was like 2 hours and 10 minutes. And I really pushed myself, and I loved it, and I was finishing books, listening to audiobooks, and I pushed it to 2 hours and 10 minutes, and I woke up the next day, and my knee was really, really sore. Well, my knee was so sore for the next couple days that I really couldn't walk on it. So I kept on like every day being like, I'm going to walk today, but then when I went to go walk, I'd be like, no, my knee hurts too bad and whatever. And I was really, to be honest with you, kind of afraid that maybe I had some kind of injury. But, so Tuesday night, I was like, it was really nice in Indianapolis, and I was like, no, I'm going to walk. Like, I have to push through this. And I thought, well, I'm only going to walk for like 15 or 20 minutes, and I ended up walking for 40 minutes and finishing most of the book. I'm listening. I just finished it. I'm on to the second one now, but I finished The Housemaid by Frida McFadden, and I took a completely different route than I usually walk, and I enjoyed it so much, and I got back home, and Alex was like, you were gone for a while. And I was like, yeah, I walked for 40 minutes. Because I told him, I said, I'm only going to walk for 15 or 20 minutes. And so I got back, and my knee was a little bit sore that night, but like the next day, like yesterday, my knee felt much better. Today, my knee is like back to normal. So, you know, I don't know, maybe I just need to push through that a little bit and get back to walking. So today, it's a little bit nicer. I am going to walk tonight. I'm very excited about my walk and listening to my audiobook. And it's really about learning these things and implementing them. And so, yeah, so it hasn't been, like, the walking has not been consistent, the eating healthy has not been consistent, and the drinking water has not been consistent. And also, the keeping things in my journal has not been consistent. Like, everything that I said that I learned last week, I did the total opposite of this week. And it was just kind of like I had this very much, like, this F it attitude. Just like, I don't even really care. Like, I don't know. It was just like the food addiction, like, took over, you know? And as somebody in recovery, I can feel that feeling. I know what it is. So I talked about it in therapy, talked about it with, you know, other people, my support system and things like that. Because I'm really struggling, and that's not where I want to be. You know, I want to be on the upwards. I don't always want to be in the lesson. I want to be practicing the lesson, you know? Like, I don't want to always be on here and be like, yeah, well, I learned a great lesson. I learned a great lesson. There's a point when it's not just about learning the lessons, it's taking the lessons and implementing them. And I know that, you know? So, somebody asked something on one of my videos, and they said, I think it was on a vlog or something, they said, what did you do with all that healthy food that you bought if you're not eating healthy? Because I had talked about it on my vlog. Well, all the healthy food's still sitting in there. I mean, it is. Like, all the frozen meals that I bought, it's all still sitting in there. I bought a few more today. I mean, I have eaten some of it. Some of the fruit and some of the what do you call it? The cottage cheese and things like that. Yesterday, I was really, really sick. I did not feel great. It kind of happened late in the afternoon, and then all night long, I just was like, my stomach was really hurting me. I was really tired. My throat was hurting me. I woke up today, and I would say I felt about 50-60% better than I did last night, so I feel like I'm on the mend. I don't know, maybe I just got like a 24-hour bug or something, but I feel much better today. So I got on the scale this morning. I was very nervous about it because I hadn't weighed myself in a couple days, and I was like, oh God. Like, so last week when I weighed in, I was 208.8. I just looked it up before I got on here. I was 208.8 when I weighed in last week, and I remembered that when I got on the scale. I was like, and I, honest to God, I thought I was going to be like 211 or 212. I was 208.8. I stayed exactly the same as I did last week. I actually took a picture. Part of the problem with me taking pictures and showing you guys this is, when my husband is texting me, when I weigh myself, here I'll show you, here is the scale. You can see this is my newest picture on here. I took a picture of this, you can't really see it, but I took a picture of the scale. Hold on a second, here it is today. You know what, I'm gonna have to turn the brightness down on the phone. But part of the problem with doing the scale is, so I've been trying to figure out a way to like do the scale, okay? So I keep my phone right here, like on top of the towels, and then I move the scale over and I like weigh myself, and then I step off of it. And for like 10 seconds or 5 seconds, like the weight stays there before the scale turns off. And so I took a picture of it. But when I realized was it's like metal and glass, I was leaning over it. I weigh myself naked. I don't know about you guys, but I weigh myself naked. So I was like, the first couple of pictures, I was like, oh, you can totally see me in this, right? So I was like, okay, this is not good. So anyway, here is the scale from today. I'm going to scan it way up here. So here it is. Oh, you can't even see it at all. Did I turn it down too much? Because people were asking that. 208.8. So that's where I'm at today. So I literally was, last week I was 208.8 and today I'm 208.8. And the couple times that I did weigh myself throughout the week, I did get it back up to like, this is why I thought I was going to be like 211 or 212, because yesterday I didn't really eat a lot because I was feeling sick. But I was up to like 211 and 212, so I thought, well, that's what I'm going to be. I'll have gained like 3 or 4 pounds, you know? So I was nervous about it. But you know what? I did okay. So maintaining and not gaining, but not losing, for me, is like, it's a push. You know, like if you guys are gamblers, you know what I mean? It's better than having gained 5 pounds, I guess. I'm still not happy with it, because for me, it's kind of like, well, if I'd walked a little bit more, drank more water, eaten healthier, then I could have lost the weight. But you know, it's all about a learning lesson. It's about maintaining it long term. I'm not going to stop these online weigh-ins. Even if every week I'm gaining weight, the accountability of doing this online has really, really helped me. And when I first started doing this, somebody said something about, I don't know, it was a couple people said it. They said that it's like been proven that people that do like online weight loss journeys are not successful. And which is interesting to me because, you know, like on Facebook Reels, I see these people that like show their pictures from the beginning to the end and like they've lost a lot of weight in the period of a year. I watch a lot of people that are like healthy living and healthy eating and things like that on YouTube and Instagram, and that really helps me. But as a person on the other side of the camera filming this, the accountability factor of knowing Thursday you're weighing in, so that's always in my head. And it's very similar to how I felt when I was doing Weight Watchers. Like, that accountability factor is very, very helpful for me, you know? And it's very similar to how when I first got sober, for the first, 3 to 6 months, there was an accountability factor. That accountability factor kept me coming back. And then when I started feeling the results of going to meetings, getting a sponsor, or working steps, not drinking or using drugs and staying sober, and I started having peace of mind and serenity, I started feeling better and whatever, then I wanted to do it for myself. And it wasn't just about the accountability factor anymore. You know, obviously I'm not doing it today for the accountability factor. I'm not staying sober at 29 years. So hopefully the accountability factor of coming on YouTube and having to be honest with you guys at some point will cross over into me feeling like, okay, I'm starting to see the results. I'm starting to feel better about this, you know? When we got back from Mexico, I was 207 pounds. And so I'm 1.8 pounds up from that, which is a lot better than 215 whatever I was when I started this, right? But it's also about being more active. I will say that when I took my walk the other day, I got back, and I didn't even realize how much I had missed my walking. So the walking's back. I'm very excited about it. I'm not going to push myself that hard. Like, I'm going to try to walk like a half an hour to an hour every night. And if I start like hurting or getting tired, I'm just going to like end it and come home because I don't want to hurt myself again. So anyway, stay the same. No gain, no loss this week, but some lessons learned. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow.